Alright, so I'm just going to make a quick video to kind of explain touch 12s really quick. So, touch 12s is a touch exercise, not really a timing exercise at all. But we're really trying to strive and find the difference between like the rubber pencil effect, which a lot of us have been taught in high school, where we're really like floppy and heavy at the bottom and it's just like sticky. And then we also like don't want a feather tap either, where we're like barely hitting the drum, and the drum won't make any sound from the bottom head, and all you'll hear is top head. All right. So on a pad, obviously, it doesn't fucking matter. But so we're gonna play this at 69 beats per minute first, and like on your own at home, experiment with using the different fingers in your fulcrum. So like, or maybe play like 2 bars with just these fingers real quick, and then switch to the next finger. You know, and so forth. The left hand though is making sure that it's just really relaxed. This exercise is actually easier once you figure out how to move with the stick when you have more fingers on the stick. Especially in the left hand, it's really hard to play this with your hand, and your hand's going to naturally be more opened and more flat just because of the way of mechanics and whatnot. But as you add your fingers onto the stick, just pay attention to your hand so that it doesn't stay open like this. We want to approach the stick with a more on top of the stick with our thumb, right? So as you add your support, Dr. Phil and Oprah Winfrey, your hand will naturally go back here. But when you start out, especially playing with your hand completely open, it'll be okay for your hand to look like that. So at 70 beats per minute, or 69 beats per minute, cool. So then we'll play that 69, and once that's good, then we'll do 100 beats per minute. 100 beats per minute is more comfortable to just slowly amp this up. So then once we get to 100 beats per minute, we'll start messing around with playing at 110% like we talked about, where we're going to intentionally play really heavy. But make sure that we're not squeezing the stick, right? All I'm doing is using more of the weight in my hand and my arm, and I'm not getting out of the way of the stick. That's what produces the wobble. Alright, I'm not squeezing on every note. Because we don't want to avoid, especially like when we're playing accents, when we come down and squeezing the stick into the head, right? It shouldn't be a finger motion, it's just a wrist and arm motion. So we'll play at 110%. Cool. And then we'll go down to 70%, which is like the touch 12s kind of feel. And just keep in mind that when you're playing touch 12s, your hand should be so light on the stick that any lighter it would fall out of your hand. Remember that. And then we'll go to what is known as 100%, which the line over time will define. That'll be like our sound that we have to find. But for now, we'll label it 100%. Alright, and I'm not adding a ton of pressure. I mean, the amount that you add of weight in your arm is so minuscule because it's very easy to overpower and go back to the rubber pencil effect. So this will take a lot of time and a lot of exploring on your own to truly understand what 110% is, and realize when you're playing 110%, and realize when you're also playing at 70%, because there are a lot of times where we like to slam accents and also like feather tap or drop in a lot of diddles or and whatnot on the inside of beats usually. So mess around with this, play it in front of the TV or whatever, but see how smooth you can get the stick. Literally, the stick should never stop, and like, I'm not perfect and no one's perfect, but we should strive for it. Cool? So that's touch 12s.